Hello friends, this lecture is the introduction of set theory. So first we will define the set. Set a well-defined aggregate or collection of objects. The synonyms of the sets are collection or family or aggregate. Sets are usually denoted by the capital letters A, B, C, Z, C, P, Q, R. Okay, so some standard notations for typical sets are: the first one is, say, the set of integers. So Z is the set of integers. Another notation for the set of integers is I. So this is not the style that I am overlapping this line two times. It is the standard notation. In the books, usually this line is bold. So instead of making it bold, we write it two times. So this is the standard notation for the set of integers, or you can use this notation. But if you use set of integers, means this is the collection of 0, 1, 2, 3 and so on. And negative integers are -1, -2 and so on. But if we use a positive sign in the superscript of this Z, so it is the set of positive integers, and this is 1, 2, 3, 4. So in earlier standard or earlier classes, we also call this set as the set of natural numbers. So the set of positive integers or set of natural numbers, both are same. If we take one more element in the set of integers, so that is known as the set of whole numbers. Set of whole numbers. That is 0, 1, 2, 3 and so on. So and then we can discuss similarly the set of negative integers, as we have discussed the set of positive integers. So these are the negative integers. And similarly we can discuss the set of real numbers, and then set of rational numbers and set of irrational numbers. Irrational means the numbers which are not rational in the set of real numbers. So you can write remove the set of rational number from the set of real number. So suppose this is the real line. We represent this as 0, 1, 2 and so on 3. So we marking them the integers and so on. So we can go in this side, left side, to minus infinity, in this side plus infinity. Okay. So all the numbers which can be represented on this line are the real numbers, but we can categorize them. These are natural numbers, so set of positive integers. These are the negative integers. If we include this 0 in this one, in these ones, so these points or these numbers as the discrete locations. They cannot appear continuously, but there are some numbers between these integers. So the numbers which can be written into the form P upon Q, Q is not equal to 0, and P and Q are co-primes. These are the rational numbers. Okay. While the numbers which cannot represent into this form, these are the irrational numbers. And these numbers means integers. Integers are also the rational numbers, because every integer, say n, can be written as n by 1. Okay. 0 also can be written as 0 by 1, because this is non-zero. And then we can discuss the set of complex numbers, means the numbers of the form p plus IQ, P and Q are real numbers. Okay. So as far as the notation of the set is concerned, I have written this notation. I have written this notation. So before discussing the different ways to represent the set, we will discuss first some notations or symbols we usually use in the set theory. For example, we consider this symbol. So this is the for all. Suppose I am writing, say, X is an element of a set A. So then this sentence can be written as X belongs to A, or we can say that A contains X. Okay. So this is the notation for belongs to. Suppose A is this set. It has the elements say 2, 4, 5. So this is the tabular form of the set because the elements are written as a table into the form of a table. So 2 is an element of this, means 2 belongs to A. But we write 3 does not belongs to A. So if A does not contain 3, it means we will use this symbol. So this is the negation of this belongs to. For all means suppose I am writing a particular property is satisfied in a set. Say set A is X such that X is less than, say X belongs to R. R is the set of real number and X is less than 2. Means this set contains all real numbers which are less than 2, strictly less than 2. So this set can be written as into another form that is known as the interval. So X is less than 2, so open interval minus infinity to 2. Next, suppose I write this symbol. So this is the there exist. So there exist always use with such that. If you remember the definition of the limit, if you remember the definition of the limit of a function, say function is fx and its limit is say L. So we write for a given epsilon greater than 0, there exists a corresponding delta greater than 0 such that modulus fx minus L is less than epsilon whenever modulus x minus A lies between 0 and delta. So we use there exist and then such that. So these two are used as we use the phrase in English grammar. So we can represent the set in two ways, so by the two ways representation of the set by using roster, tabular or listing method. Another way is set builder or property or rule method. Okay. So by using this tabular method, suppose I am writing a set, say A 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay. Another way to write this set, it contains the integers, positive integers which are less than 5. So you can write A contains all x such that x is a natural number and x is less than 5. Okay. So instead of writing into this form, we can write the set A contains all the elements which satisfy this property. So for example, we can take another example, say A contains all the points, means doublet, such that modulus x plus modulus y is equal to 1. So it means it contains all the points in two-dimensional space or plane which satisfy this equation. So if you will remove this modulus, so it means it is the collection of all those lines x plus y equal to 1, minus x plus y is equal to 1, x minus y is equal to 1, and then minus x minus y is equal to 1. Okay, so geometrically if you look this one, so these four lines are, this is 1, 1, minus 1, minus 1. So all these points on the boundary of this square will represent the set A. So next we will discuss, or you can say that this A is the collection of x, say in a set, say natural number such that x satisfies a property P. So P is in this set, P is this property, in this set P is this property, so P is a property. So for the set builder form or property or rule method, A is the collection of all x which lies in a particular set which satisfies a particular property. Next we will discuss the type of the sets. The null set, which contains no elements, or it is also said to be the void set or empty set. For example, I am writing x belongs to R and x square plus 5 is equal to 0. So if you will solve this quadratic equation, x square is negative, so you cannot get the real solution of this equation. So this set is void set. Okay. Singleton set, if a set has a single element or only one element, is said to be the singleton. For example, A is the collection of all natural numbers such that x is less than 5 and greater than 3. Okay, so only the natural number which lies between these two numbers is only 4. So singleton set can be described as this. Finite set, if a set has finite number of the elements, is said to be the finite set. So you can give many examples of finite sets, say 1, 5, 9. You can write A, E, O. Okay. You can write the members of a family, Ram, Mohan, Sita, and so on. Infinite sets. So if a set has infinite number of the elements, then it is said to be the infinite set. For example, we have written the set of natural numbers, set of rational numbers, the typical sets or standard sets, set of real numbers, set of irrational numbers, and set of say positive integers or natural numbers. Okay, so these are the examples of infinites. So next we will discuss the equal sets. So the two sets are said to be the equal sets if all elements of a set A are in B and all the elements of B are in A, means vice versa. So then they are said to be equal sets. So the next is the algebra of sets, or we can say that the operations in sets. So number one is subset. So we denote the subset by this symbol. Suppose A is a subset of B, it means B contains A, or all the element of A are in B. So if we write this as X belongs to A, implies that X belongs to B. But converse need not be true. Okay. For example, I am writing A is equal to 1, 2, 3, and I am writing B is equal to all X in n natural number such that X is less than 10. So this will contain the natural numbers from 1 to 9, and this contains the natural numbers only 1, 2 and 3. So A is a subset of B, but B is not a subset of A. Okay, A is a subset of B. Next operation is the proper subset. So the notation for the proper subset is this one. We will not use equality here. So in this case, it may be possible that A may be equal to B, but in case of proper subset, suppose A is a proper subset of B, it means B has at least one element which is not in A. It means B has at least one element in B which is not in A. Okay. In symbolic form, we can write there exists, if A is a proper subset of B, so there exists a X in B such that X is not in A. Okay, keep in mind this is the basic definition. If you want to prove any result, means you want to show that A is a proper subset of B, you must keep in mind that we have to prove at least one element in B which is not in A. So if we are saying that A is a proper subset of B, it means we are saying that A is a subset of B, but A is not equal to B. Means combining these two facts, we can say that A is a proper subset of B. Or we say that B is a superset of A. Okay. So if we use the concept of the subset or proper subset, and we want to connect a relation between the set of natural numbers and then set of integers and then set of rational numbers and then set of real numbers and then set of complex numbers. So we can say that every natural number is an integer, but every integer is not a natural number. So n is a proper subset of Z. Every integer is a rational number, but every rational number is not an integer. So you can say that Z is a proper subset of Q. Okay. every rational number is a real number, but every real number need not be a rational number. So it is a proper subset of R, and R is a proper subset of a set of the complex number. This is the set of complex numbers. So if you want to write the pictorial diagram, suppose this is N lies in Z, and Z lies in Q, and Q lies in R, and R lies in C. Okay. So this is the pictorial way of these sets. So please note that some results or some ideas. Empty set is a subset of each set. Because empty set does not have any element, and each set may have at least null element or at least one element. Okay. Next, every set is a subset of itself. Next is the power set. Okay. So power set is the collection of, suppose we have to calculate the power set of a set A. So it is the collection of all subsets of A. Suppose A has say two elements A and L. Okay. So it has two elements. So how many subsets of this set can be? Suppose one is empty set, because empty set is a subset of each set. Then we can collect all the subsets of this set which has one element. So taking one element from these two, one subset is this, another subset is this L, containing L only, and then we will pick up, or we will choose those subsets of the set A which contains two elements. So this is A itself. So this set A has two elements. So how many elements are there in the power set of this set? So this is EA. EA means power set of A. So the number of the elements in this power set is denoted by this notation, or cardinality of the set. So cardinality of this set is equal to 4, because it has 4 elements. So in general, we have an idea, if A is a finite set, it has a cardinality n, means it has n elements. So then its power set has cardinality 2 to the power n. Okay. So this is the reason why it is called the power set. Means the elements in the power set of A is 2 to the power n. Okay. So the next we will discuss the universal set and then Venn diagram. So universal set. Universal set is a set. In a particular problem, all the sets are deal with become subset of a fixed set. Then this fixed set is called the universal set. Okay. Suppose we consider the A, B, C, these three sets. So these are taken from a fixed set, say U. Universal set is discussed. Next we will discuss the Venn diagram. So when was a mathematician, English logician? So after his name, these diagrams are known as the Venn diagram. Suppose this rectangular box represents the U, means universal set. We consider a set A here, and another set is B here. So these two elements are totally distinct. If no element of A in B, or no any element of which lies in B is not an element of A, so these two elements are totally disjoints. These are said to be the disjoint sets. But if all the elements of A are contained in B, in a set B, suppose this is the universal set, so then this operation or this picture represents, this is the Venn diagram for A is a subset of B. From this picture you can say that if there is at least one element, say P, which is outside A, means which is not in A but it is in B, so A is a proper subset of B, and B is said to be the superset of A. So next we will discuss some operations on the sets. Union, intersection, so union between two sets is denoted by A union B, and it is the collection of all X such that either X is in A or X is in B. Means you are collecting all the elements of A and B, and you are writing one time if they are common in A and B. So for example, suppose this is the universal set. If you want to represent with the help of the Venn diagram, suppose this set is A, this set is B. So if you want to represent all the elements of A, it means draw any pattern covering all the portion of A, and you have to proceed or you have to increase the same pattern in the B also. So you have a single pattern in A and B covering this one. So this pattern represents the shaded portion, can be represented by A union B. So logically, if you want to prove that how many elements are in A union B, so we can write this as there are three portions. One portion which is in A but not in A intersection B. Another portion which is in both intersection, means common. A intersection B means it contains all elements such that X is in A and X is in B. Okay. So these are the common elements and we have to cover all the elements. So if you want to write the elements, number of elements in A union B can be written as the number of elements in A plus number of elements in B, but we are seeing that this portion is repeated two times, so subtract one times the number of elements in A intersection B. Similarly, if you want to find the union of three sets A union B union C. So the number of elements in this can be written as number of elements in A plus number of elements in B plus number of elements in C, or cardinality of these sets. Add the cardinality of all individual sets minus then cardinality of pairwise intersection plus this one plus, so plus minus and then plus cardinality of intersection of all these three. So you can generalize this result in the same pattern. Suppose you have more than three elements. Say you have the collection of the elements. Say you have A alpha. Alpha is an index which lies in an index set. Say this one. This is the set of index. You pick up alpha from this set. Say this set is say 1, 2, 5, and it means you have A1, A2, A5. You have three sets. If this has say P, Q, R, it means this has AP, AQ and AR. So it means you are varying these indexes, and these indexes are taken from this set. That set is said to be the set of index. So number of elements in this set or cardinality of this set can be written as summation cardinality of each A alpha minus summation cardinality of A alpha intersection A beta, means pairwise intersection. Alpha is not equal to beta, but you will cover all alpha beta in this index set, and then with positive sign summation, and then taking the intersection of three sets, say A alpha, A beta, A gamma. Okay, alpha is not equal to beta is not equal to gamma, and each alpha, beta, gamma belongs to this index set. Okay, so similarly you can proceed, or you can write here minus 1 to the power 0 plus minus 1 to the power 1 minus 1 to the power 2 and so on. Okay, and finally you will have minus 1 to the power n intersection of all these say intersection of all A alpha. Okay, so if we want to draw the Venn diagram, or we want to explain the Venn diagram of two sets, suppose it is the universal set U. We want to show that A intersection B, this set is B, this set is A. So draw any pattern covering A. But if you want to show the A intersection B, first you have to make a different pattern covering B, but that should be different from A. Say this is the pattern. So you will have a third type of the pattern which is different from the pattern of A and B. So this portion is the A intersection B. So idea for solving the union and intersection by using Venn diagram is different. Okay. We can remember some properties of the union and intersection. Say A union A is A. A intersection A is also A. But suppose A is a subset of B, then A union B is B. Means union is the bigger set. But if A is a subset of B, then A intersection B is A. Means the smallest set. So union is the smallest set. So if you take the phi, so phi union A is A. And phi intersection A is phi because it is the smallest set. Phi is the subset of all sets. So for example, if we have say set of rational numbers and set of real numbers, so their intersection is Q because every rational number is a real number. It is the smaller set, so their intersection is Q. So friends, before discuss the identities, we will discuss first the complement of a set. The complement of a set is denoted by A, C, means C is in subscript, or you can write A dash. So A dash is the collection of all X in universal set such that X is not in an A. Means all the elements which are not in A are the elements of the complement, its complementary set. Okay. So the next rule is identity law. Identity law means, what is the meaning of identity in mathematics? Identity means effectless. Suppose you take a universal set from which all the sets have been taken and you take the A intersection U. So A intersection U, intersection is the smallest set, so it is A. But if you take A union U, so this is the universal set, this is for union. So the union of these two sets is equal to the bigger set, and bigger set is U. So in this one, identity means effectless. So in which property, which is true for all A. So this property is true for all A. Okay. So what is the identity here? Identity is the universal set. So for the operation intersection, universal set is the identity. Suppose you take A union phi, take A union phi, so it is always A. So this is always true for every A, for all A. So here the identity element is phi. So identity law means the universal set is the identity element for the intersection operation, and for the union operation phi is the identity element. Next is domination rule. Suppose you take A union U, so it is the bigger set. Bigger set means U, and if you take the A intersection phi, take the different operation here than this one. If you take here intersection, you take here union, so A union U is equal to U. So U will absorb A because it is the superset of this one, and A is the superset of this one, so A will dominate over this one, absorb this one. So A intersection phi is equal to the smaller set phi. Next is idempotent law. So as you have discussed in algebra also, A square is equal to identity. So idempotent laws are there. So suppose what is the identity element in operation intersection? In operation intersection, what is the identity element? Union is identity element. So U intersection U is again U. And if you take complement of the complement, we will get the same set. So this property is said to be the involutory property, as you have discussed in the matrices. The universe is same set. Okay, this property is also known as involutory property. Commutative law. Commute means changing the order. So in the union operation, A union B is always equal to B union A. So means order of the sets is immaterial. Similarly, in the intersection operation, A intersection B is equal to B intersection A. Associative law. So you have three sets, say A, B, C, and these two are associative. So whether these two are associative or these two are associative, the value remains same. And similarly for union, A union B union C is equal to the union of B and C. Okay. Distribution law. So the union is always distributive over intersection. So A will distribute over B. So A union B intersection A union C. And similarly, the intersection is also distributive over union. So you can prove these results with the help of Venn diagrams also. A intersection B union A intersection C. De Morgan's law. So De Morgan's law means the complement of the A union B is equal to the intersection of their individual complements. And if you take here intersection, so the complement of the intersection is equal to the union of their individual complements. Okay. Absorption law. This intersection of two sets is smaller than from each of the sets. Okay, sorry, A intersection B is greater than, means bigger. Intersection is the smallest set from A and B. So union of this set and this one, because this set is bigger, so it will absorb this A intersection B. And similarly, A union B is bigger than both the sets, so this set will absorb this after the intersection operation. So you will get A here. Complementary laws. The union of a set with its complements is the universal set, and intersection will give us the empty set. Okay, so we will over this lecture here. So in the next lecture we will discuss some remaining portion of this review on the set theory. Thank you very much.